Today I have two young men who are joining me to talk to us about how they feel about the tensions between African Americans and the community. One of them, everybody knows him probably, his name is Anthony Atkinson. You might look at him and go, yeah, Anthony. He's not here to talk about basketball the whole time. He is with the Harlem Globetrotters, and he is going to talk about that experience. But today he's going to talk about his life as he watches what's happening in America. And then we have with us Erick Jenkins, another wonderful young man who is a wonderful example in the African American community. And he's here also to talk about what America is experiencing right now.
Welcome to the newest dialogue in politics, community news, human interest stories, entertainment, and information from Eastern North Carolina. Janet Conner-Knox is an award-winning journalist with more than 25 years experience in print, radio, and television. This is Talking with Janet.
You both saw the video in Minneapolis?
Yes.
Okay. I have not been able to watch it. I know I can't look at it. One of the members of Brotherside looked at it. By mistake, he said he didn't mean to, Robert Golphin, and he said it shook him.
He had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm. We're waiting for back. I will, sir. No worries.
Keep him up. Keep him up. Face
Where's my daughter? You got my daughter?
Face away from me and walk backwards. Walk backwards towards me. Keep walking. Keep walking. Keep walking. Keep walking. Get on your knees. Get on your knees.
I watched it from beginning to end, and I saw the first and the second video. She had another video when she was in the car, or the police car, and it was very disturbing for multiple reasons. It disturbed me to see basically how calm she was in the situation, but how not calm the police officer was. You could hear it in his voice how scared he was, how he just seemed, to me, ill-prepared to handle a situation like that, in my opinion. And she was just so calm, even though her fiance had just died right beside her and in front of her 4-year-old child. I just started.
And what was the child doing? Because I didn't see it. Was the child crying? Was the child?
In the video, actually, to my surprise, the child was actually very quiet. You didn't hear the child until the police got her out of the car and started putting handcuffs on her, because they put handcuffs on her and they took her to the police department, and then they questioned her like she was a suspect or a criminal, not like a victim sitting next to a violent act that just happened. So after they handcuffed her, they put both her and the child in the police car in the back, and she was able to reach her phone with her handcuffs and then speak to Facebook and ask some individuals to come pick her up from the police department. And as she's doing that, and as she's mourning the death of her fiance, her child then says, "I'm here for you, Mommy, wow. I'm here for you." And it's very sad.
What did it do to you? Did you cry?
It brought me chills, and it did, bring out a tear, manly tear, but a tear nonetheless.
Which is different than my tear.
No.
I understand.
But it's just one of those. It's just one of those things that makes you think, like, why is that the case? Why does it have to happen like that? In a sense of, her fiance was just shot, and this is only just one little thing. Her fiance was just shot and then
killed.
Yeah, and killed. no one checked his pulse. The police officer never checked his pulse. The police officer never, it just disturbed me in so many ways. The victims were not tended to. The person who was shot was not tended to. The person who had just lost their fiance was put in handcuffs and was not tended to. And then the child was not tended to. They weren't treated like victims. They were treated like they were suspects and or criminals.
You are a father. You have 2 babies. And one of them is a boy.
2 of them, both of them.
Both of them? I didn't know they were both boys.
Both
Okay,
boys.
all right. One of your boys was pretty, looked like a girl, you know. So you've experienced being stopped by police officers, have you not?
I haven't actually gone through an experience, not recently.
Okay, all right. Well, you're lucky, right?
Right.
Okay. But I think before the show, we were talking about the fact that you understand that you're looked at differently. Am I right, or am I wrong about that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No doubt.
All right. I certainly don't want to. If you haven't been stopped, that's great.
No, I haven't been stopped.
Okay.
I haven't been stopped, but I think just watching that video as being a father of a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old, the only thing you can do is try to put yourself in their shoes and say, what if that was me and my kids were sitting there watching me bleed to death for no reason? And I think the whole thing that got me was there was no remorse shown for anything. There was no remorse shown when the gun was fired. There was no remorse shown for the kids. There's no remorse shown for the lady in the video. The cop is sitting there yelling at the woman like she did something wrong for videotaping. There's no remorse shown during the whole entire thing. And I think that's what really hit it home with me, and it made me wonder, if I got stopped with my kids in the back, will there be remorse shown? Why did 4 shots have to go into that man for something to be done? Why not a warning shot outside? Even though that might be wrong, it's not shooting anybody. If you set off a warning shot, okay, now he got my attention, this must be real serious. Shot the man 4 times in his arm, killed him in front of his kids.
Yeah.
And now a kid has to go home and has no father to bring him up. That's what we talk about all the time with black kids. They have no father figure, they have no male figure in their life. Well, you just took another one away.
Yeah.
So now that kids go down the wrong path, who's to blame? Is it the mother? She can only do so much. She's not the father figure of the house. So now what I did was put myself in those shoes. What if I'm taken away from my 2 boys that need father figures in their house, especially with times being how they are today? Playing basketball, I'm already going on the road 6 to 7 months out of the year for my kids. So therefore, they're already missing that time, that much needed time with them to raise them up as they're supposed to be from the father standpoint. My wife can only do so much. But to sit there and watch that video, I'm just wondering, now what is that kid gonna think that she experienced that and was there and saw it happen? How many nightmares is she gonna have? How many nightmares he or she gonna have? How many times they're gonna wake up in the morning and say, where's mommy, where's daddy? You know, and I don't think that runs through people's mind. I think the only thing you see is the killing, it was white, it was black. No, that's another child without a father.
And also, I guess the other concern is how will the child view police officers after this? Solemn topic. We're going to be right back with Anthony Atkinson?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot to put the son on there.
No problem.
Anthony Atkinson. And there is no excuse for me not to know Anthony Atkinson, as famous as he is, and Erick Jenkins. We'll be right back, right after this.
I did something terrible. I don't know what I was thinking.
This is dangerous.
I'm begging you, don't hurt me.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Valentina, you're beautiful, 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 beautiful.
We're back with Talking with Janet, and today my guests are Anthony Atkinson, who is one of the Globetrotters, and we have Erick Jenkins, who is a student at ECU. When both of you are examples of America, you both are. Erick, I don't know anybody more clean cut looking than you. You're very, very clean cut looking. And then, you look a little more artsy, to be perfectly honest, because you're into entertainment. Is there any difference, you think, how you're viewed? I know lots of times officers say if a guy is sagging or if he has locks, it makes them look at him a little more closely. Do you think how a person is dressed warrants that?
I think it does to a certain extent, but it shouldn't. I'll say that. I think it does, but it shouldn't. Everybody has the equal right to wear what they want to wear, present themselves how they want to look. But it's just the honest to God truth. When you present yourself as a man in a suit, me a clean-cut athlete, going out here, driving a nice car, got a beautiful family, nice house, the cops might not respond to me the way they don't respond to a guy with dreads or a guy with his pants sagging or something like that. It's just the way the world is right now, and it's sad because it goes back to what I think Martin Luther King said. I want my kids to come up not judged on the color of their skin, but the content of their character. That guy that has dreads, he can have a 4.0 GPA and be the most polite person in the world. But because of the stereotypes of the social media outlets, of the media period, I think that's what ruins everything. Because now when you look on TV, you look on videos and music videos, what do you see? The rappers with the dreads, the rappers with the pants sagging, the rappers saying all this language and things like that. So automatically they're thinking, oh, he's a rapper, he's a drug dealer.
But they're entertainers.
Right.
They're entertainers.
Right.
You're an entertainer.
Right.
And they're entertainers.
Right.
And so, it's not real life, much like nothing on TV or most of what television is entertainment. It's not real. But you believe. Now, you drive a nice car. Do folks look at you funny?
Oh yeah, it's very funny. And my wife didn't believe it at first when we first got together. I said, watch this. And we would pull up at stoplights and people would pull up and just try to peek in and see who was driving the car. And I find it hilarious because I think I was watching a public speaker talk one time, and he was talking about the hood and the ghetto and everything like that. The hood and the ghetto is a mindset. People say, oh, I'm from the hood, I'm from the ghetto, I'm from this side of Wilson, I'm from that side. That's a mindset. If you train your mind to say, I'm from the hood, I'm from the ghetto, you'll always think as you're from the hood or you're from the ghetto. When you train yourself to go outside and think outside the box, that's when you start seeing the millionaires. That's when you start seeing the President Obama, the first black president, go into office. That's when you start seeing the G.K. Butterfields, people like that. That's when you start seeing the Anthony Atkinson, where people doubted my whole life and said, because you're from Wilson, you're never going to make it, but now I'm a Harlem Globetrotter. Those same people that doubted me are the same ones that come back and are quick to shake my hand first, like they encouraged me my whole life. Why? Because my mindset was different.
But now, everybody's mindset's not going to be that way, all right?
Right.
I guess the question becomes then, should they be killed for that? It to me seems that there is genocide. It looks like genocide. It looks like the targeting of African American males.
I don't see it as genocide.
Okay.
I just see it as a cultural indifference and a cultural difference. So a police officer could grow up and live their whole life, from birth to the time they become a police officer in the suburbs, in a nice neighborhood, and they could go to a school on the side of town where predominantly there are white kids going to that school, and so they've never really come in contact, they've never really had a complete conversation with an African American male, female, what have you, adult, child, what have you, and all their teachers white, and then they look at the media, they look at any type of major media outlet, any type of show, any type of movie, and they see black people, male, female, what have you, doing drugs on TV, robbing a white person on TV, holstering guns in a gang on TV, and then they become a police officer. They might meet a black person that's the police officer or what have you, go, oh, that's a nice black person or whatever, and they have that nice and that bad side.
But I guess the question I'm asking you are African American males targeted?
I don't believe they are targeted. I believe it's a cultural difference, like I was stating before, is that they're not in the neighborhood, and the only time they are in the neighborhood is when they're doing a drug bust, when they're going to arrest somebody, when they have some type of intel that a black person is doing something bad. So then they happen to be in that area and they do like a police stop, or they do, they're just patrolling and they stop someone, and then their only notion of a black person that they mainly come in contact with is an actual drug dealer or an actual person with a gun, and that's all their experiences with a black person is that. And so they meet someone who says, oh, I'm a legal gun owner and I happen to be black and I have an out tail light. And then when you're scared and a person tells you, they tell you everything they have, they tell you everything that's going on with them, and then when they go to get the thing you tell them to go get, and you're scared to death of them because all the images that are in your head are gangbanger, drug dealer, and killer, murderer. And it's really the perception, and if you don't have any integration come into your life where you're actually experiencing African Americans, black people, Hispanic people, you need that diversity in your life. To me personally, to be a police officer, you need to know the culture of the people who you are policing, or else you're not going to be able to properly police them. That's just how it is. Like you can't be a parent to someone who you don't talk to, you don't come in contact with. You just say, oh, I don't like that, that's wrong. Like the person's not going to listen to you because you don't know their issues, you don't know what's going on with them. And that's just how it is with anything, really. You have to know.
We're going to be right back. We've got to come back to that targeting because there are a lot of African American males who say they are targeted.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of them that say, that's the word they've used, is targeted. And so when we come back and we'll talk to you a little bit more about what do we do with this relationship that we don't have, or to improve the relationship that we have with officers. Talking with Janet, we'll be right back. I'm Janet Conner-Knox, host of Talking with Janet. It's a new series exclusively for Brotherside Entertainment. Communities in eastern North Carolina have concerns they see no one addressing. Where do their elected officials stand? What is their plan? The unemployment rate here is double the rest of the state. The working class want to know that their future is secure, but also, how can they make it today? They're worried about survival. Will they have electric, food? If they fall ill, will a doctor be ready to see them right now? There are people with unique stories that deserve to be told. That's why politicians, community leaders, and everyday newsmakers will be talking with Janet at BrothersideENT.com. When young African American men, you see them walking down the street and they're laughing and they're talking and all of that, and then you see an officer pull up, do you think they're going to get a fair shake?
Because of my good heart, I think they will. But because of the latest events, my mindset could be no. And honestly, me, I just start praying for them. I do. And I think that's the only thing we can do. And it's, like I said, it's betrayed by what goes on in the media because that's what we've seen. And it's just like, I think on both sides of it, they see us one way, we see them one way. So,
but they're supposed to uphold the law.
Right.
You know what I mean? They have a different list of things that they must do.
Right.
Okay. The average little 16-year-old or 15-year-old, they're just, being a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, what sneakers do you have? Ooh, that girl is cute, things of that nature. The officer of the law is held to a higher standard. Right. You know what I mean? When you ride by and you see 3 or 4 officers surrounding a car, and there's an African American in the car, do you fear for them?
I wouldn't necessarily call it fear. I mean, just being honest from an honest standpoint, I wouldn't necessarily call it fear, but I think your mind just starts to wonder, whether they warranted for pulling them or whether they wanted being pulled over, or, what's going on, or because I can honestly speak from both sides of it because I have close friends that are white cops. I have close friends that are black cops. I have family members that are cops. So I know some good cops. I've never met a bad cop. So it's hard for me to speak from the bad cop side, and I think that's where we have to be careful of when we start speaking for everybody. When, like I said, we haven't went through it ourselves. And all we're seeing is what's going on TV. So when I see what's going on TV, automatically my inside is I'm outraged, I'm mad, I'm upset, I'm hurt, I'm scared for my children to maybe experience that. But then also my intellect tells me, let me take a step back. I can't judge every cop that I see now based on what that person did. And I think that's the problem that's going on right now.
You're talking about with the retaliation.
Right, everybody is judging and everybody is, just perceiving every cop to be, oh, he's gonna kill me, let me shoot him. People were wounded, cops were wounded and everything like that. And it happens, why? Because people are outraged, they're tired. They're tired of going through this.
You've been stopped by officers.
Yep.
Do you feel like they were unwarranted stops?
Yes. I've been stopped cumulatively about 10 times. I was stopped one particular time in Asheville, Woodfin, in that area, which is the western part of North Carolina. I was stopped by a police officer. It was about the 4th time he had stopped me. And this particular...
Same officer?
Same officer.
So he knew you?
He knew me for the most part.
Yeah, he would know you stopping you 4 times.
Yes, he would know me.
Right.
And routine. It was a routine night. I just got off work. I usually take my manager home to because he did not have a car. He had a DUI, and I think he had a prior or something. But he was working. He was rehabilitating himself. He had a full-time job. He was a manager at the job that he worked, and I would take him home. And this night, the police officer stopped us, and you're innocent until proven guilty. But this officer
are you?
On this, you are. And this night, the officer wanted to.
In theory.
Yeah, in theory, the officer wanted to make sure he was innocent on this night.
He wanted to make sure he was innocent?
Make sure. And so he stopped us. And, he went to his car, he checked my license, even checked his license. Again.
He wasn't driving.
He wasn't driving. I was driving.
But he checked the other guy's license?
He checked the other guy's license, my manager's license. And
that's something. Okay.
And then and he knew him. And then he told us to get out of the car. And so I was like, okay.
Were you nervous?
I was nervous, but I was polite. I greeted him with a smile, and I kept smiling. Trying to.
No, all right, Eric. I gotta it's a little strange.
Because at the same time, like I felt like if I questioned or if I opposed anything that he did, I felt like I would be in some type of trouble or things would escalate.
Did you feel like you were targeted?
In this case, I did feel like I was targeted because it was like I said, it was the 4th time we had been stopped, and he knew the situation. He knew the manager had priors and that I did not, and that I took him home a lot. And this is something that was explained to him before, but he still told us to get out of the car. He told the manager to go to the police car. The manager stood at the police car. He told me that he was going to search the car. He put my manager in the police car.
What was the reason for searching the car?
He didn't give a reason. I didn't ask a reason because
smart not to ask.
Yeah, because this is before.
Did he ask you, "Can I search your car?" and you said yes?
Yes, I said yes. Because if you say no, then that makes you look guilty in some way. That makes you look like you have something to hide. So even though that is my right, my American right to say no, I said yes so that this could be over. So he wouldn't escalate the situation. Because I knew there's nothing in the car, there's nothing incriminating, we weren't doing anything wrong. It's just, that night he felt like he had to make an arrest or he wanted to make an arrest.
Well, you did the right thing. You're alive, and so you did the right thing. Right.
And so he searched the car, but before he searched the car, like I was saying, he put my manager in the back of the police car while I'm standing outside of the car. So, and the reason why he did that is because, he felt like my manager, I guess he felt like he was a criminal.
Was your manager African American?
Yes, he was African American.
Okay.
He was 6'3", 6'4", a little bit taller than me. So he probably was a little bit intimidating to the officer. He was probably about 50 years old, a little older guy. And
he was intimidating because he was tall?
Yeah, I mean, and the guy was, you know, probably about 5'10", so like, you know, he was about 6 inches taller than him, and he knew him. He's met him a few times.
Okay.
And so it was just, and he gave him a breathalyzer in the back seat of the police car.
But he wasn't driving.
He wasn't driving. He gave him a breathalyzer anyway. You know, of course, he passed the breathalyzer, and the policeman let us off, and he found nothing. And it's like, and he told us to have a good night, and it's like, okay,
after you've messed our night up, we'll try to do
it took about an hour and a half out of our way in the middle of the night at that, so about 3 a.m. And I took him home and went home, and it's just one of those things that.
Could you sleep when you got home?
Yeah, I could sleep. You know, I was a late night person at the time, and it was just disturbing to me because I felt like it was unfair.
I need to ask you very quickly. A lot of young kids look up to you. A lot of young boys look up to you, and I know they want to make it. Do you have any words of encouragement for them?
I think the main thing would be is have a vision for yourself. Have a vision for yourself, because I think, like the Bible said, you know, when there's no vision, people perish. And I think that's what's going on with a lot of our, especially our young black African American kids today. They have no vision for themselves, so when they go out here, they don't know what they want out of life. They don't know anything, they don't know how to succeed. Like they said before, like Mr. Jenkins said before, educate yourself on what you want to do. When I joined the Harlem Globetrotters, I educated myself on the background of it, who lives they touch, the history of it, everything. From the stars to the people that started it to everything, where we located it, everything. You have to educate yourself, but you have to have a vision for yourself. And after you have the vision, then you can start putting the faith and the work into it. But you can't put faith and work in something if you don't have a vision for yourself, because the faith and the work is going to be for no reason.
How do you have a vision if all you live in poverty? Your mom lives in poverty. Your grandparents, all you know is poverty. All you know is sadness. How do you get a vision?
You understand how you feel when you're going through that poverty. You understand the sadness that you feel. You understand the hurt that you feel. You understand how your city looks. You understand how your community looks. You understand what's going on with your family and everything like that. So what you do now is say is, I don't want to be like this when I get older. I want to make a better way for my family. I want to make a better way for myself. And I think that's the thing that helped me out. I saw how my community was. I saw how all the people that came before me that had talent, that had the opportunity to go out here and make it, but they didn't because of their mindset and because of things they went through as a young age, and now at the older age it haunted them still. So now my goal was to bring Wilson together.
If we had the time, we probably could spend another hour. We could spend hours and hours, and I'd like to say thank you to both Anthony Atkinson from the Harlem Globetrotters to take some time to come and talk to us. Thank you, Erick Jenkins, for coming and talking with us. I hope everybody's having conversations across the country and what we can do to make our world better, our country better. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on Talking with Janet, please contact us by email, brothersideent@gmail.com. Leave your name and contact information. Without that, your guest will not be considered.
This has been a Brotherside Entertainment production.